What up, fam? Hit that like, hit that subscribe. This is Agree to Disagree, and the Eagles got two coordinators. Let's go. Welcome in, everybody. This is Agree to Disagree, only on A2D Radio. Every Sunday, we are brought to you by our doc, Make Them Yours, Dr. Paul Vidal, Specialized Physical Therapy, LLC, locations in Burlington, Cherry Hill, New Jersey. Find them right there, right there on the web, specializedphysicaltherapy.com. As always, Nick DelGozzo, Greg Milakovic, Brian Wilson. I'm Tom Arnone. Everybody out there, welcome in. We got a lot to go over. We'll give you our Crum of the week at the end of the show. Sixers, little West Coast trip. I know I can speak for the three of us. And I mean, even Greg doesn't mind it either. But definitely for the three of us, love a West Coast trip. Almost wish they went out there 10 times a year. I mean, send them out again. Love a 10 p.m. start. We'll get into that later on the show. Early Super Bowl preview. We know who it is. It's the Niners. I can't stand it. And it's the Kansas City Chiefs. So we'll break down that. The line's already out. The Niners are a 2.5-point favorite. So we'll discuss all that throughout the show. Main topic at hand surrounds our Philadelphia Eagles. And, going into this offseason, you knew right away that you needed to upgrade two spots. Forget players for a second. Just in your coaching staffs, right? And you had to upgrade your offensive coordinator position, and you had to upgrade your defense coordinator position. They go out and do that with Vic Fangio, and then circle around over the last 24 hours. And now Kellen Moore is hired as Eagles offensive coordinator. So, ties right into our poll question brought to you by Baggio's Bread, located in Mount Laurel, New Jersey, home of the best stuffed breads, tomato pies, sandwiches, cutlets, meatballs. Mention A2D Radio, get 10% off your in-store purchase. So, our poll question. With the new coordinator hires, the 2024 Philadelphia Eagles are Super Bowl contenders again. Do you agree or disagree? Let us know. Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, that's where we're live. And everywhere you get your podcasts, we're there as well. And keep in mind that the last two times the Eagles hired an offensive coordinator from the Chargers, they went to a Super Bowl. Frank Reich, obviously, we win a Super Bowl that year. And Shane Steichen as well, and we go to a Super Bowl with Shane Steichen, both from the Chargers. Now Kellen Moore, also from the Chargers. So maybe third time's the charm, and we win it.
The Brandon Staley tree. It's phenomenal. What a phenomenal tree! He can't even sit in the tree himself. But I mean, what a phenomenal tree!
I was gonna say, not sure that's really a tree.
No, it's a Charlie Brown tree for sure.
Yeah, definitely not a tree.
Might be a weed, not a tree.
I mean, there's so much more to go, right? There's a whole free agency period. There's a whole draft. There's a whole signing period after the draft. Like, you know what I mean? There's so much further to go here to really say like anybody's a contender, right? And we got to see who people lose, who people get back. That whole process has to play out. But in terms of like coordinators to surround Nick Serianni with, right? I think these were two really good hires. I really do. I think, Vic's doesn't need anybody sitting in on his defensive meetings. He's been doing it long enough, right? So, that's a proven track record as a coordinator. And Kellen Moore had good offenses with the Cowboys, right? He had them. I don't really want to matter what happened last year in LA. That was obviously a train wreck, but he was a guy that was a candidate for a lot of head coaching jobs too. He didn't get a head coaching job yet, obviously, but he was a guy that was up for a lot of different interviews once he left Dallas last year, right? And if there was probably more job openings, he probably would have got one, right? But there wasn't. So he goes to LA. But I've always liked him. I thought he's a good play caller. I never had a big issue. I'm not going to say he's like the smartest guy in the room, but he's a guy who's been play calling for a long time now, right? So that sort of gives me a sense of comfortability that, okay, I have a guy that's not his first time doing it, right? Like we came into this year with Brian Johnson. So that's a good sign. That's a good start to make me want to agree to the poll. Like I want to agree to the poll. Or I want to. As long as Jeffrey Lurie's here and Howie Roseman, I know they want to win, even though they get in their way a lot, right? I know they want it. I know what they want to do. Okay, it might not go the way we want it to go every year, but I know obviously that's their goal. Okay, so I'm going to hope every year that we get back. But this is definitely a great start in that direction, right? And when we'll see what we do personnel-wise, but as a coaching staff, I'm excited about it because I know Vic's going to bring in guys around him to finish off his staff that I think are really good at their jobs too. So I think all that matters, right? All that matters what's underneath these coordinators too. So I'm not going around crowning coordinators, right? But they definitely matter. They definitely absolutely matter, and they absolutely matter to this football team from what we saw this past season, right? So I'm going to agree. We're contenders again. I don't think we weren't contenders, right? As long as we had a nucleus here, I feel like that we're in that conversation until otherwise. Now, they got a lot to prove, obviously, right? After going 1-6, but you still want to, after the dust settles, you still want to say, all right, let's get ourselves back up here. We were a 10-1 football team. Let's sort of figure out where that team is a little bit. And let's fix some of the problems and put some, not even some Band-Aids, some, what's it, Flex Fit, Super Fit? What do they call that? Like 3 a.m. commercial. You know what I'm talking about? The boat, right? There's no way this boat's still got, right? I feel like we need a lot of that in the middle of our defense. But I know Vic Fangio is going to demand that. He's going to come with saying, this isn't happening. Like, we're not going to, these aren't my starters out there, right? In certain situations. So I feel like a guy like that's going to have a voice in the room too. And I would hope. So I agree. Screw it. Let's go. We're back.
Yeah, I mean, I know. Yeah, I mean, I would say right now, I thought you had a great point about being so early. You know what I mean? That's just, this is talking heads, and this is what, makes it makes it great. So, this is the kind of stuff we need to do. So, but it is early. It is a step in the right direction. I will disagree for, only for the fact that, I still think they're a great organization, but this team, and not discrediting wins, but we saw the way the end was. This team was probably an 8-9 football team. I know they weren't, so you're going to say, "Sweep, shut the fuck up." They were probably an 8-9 football team last year. You know what I mean? But they won the three, at least 3 or 4 coin toss games, and that's what you do in the NFL. So tip of the cap to you, but nothing really impressive about it. And I think we all were in agreement. The 10-1 was more of a more mirage than it was anything else. You didn't want to, you might didn't want to believe it, and you surely didn't want to poo-poo a 10-1, all right, because we know how hard it is to win in this league. But I think anybody with eyes kind of felt that, maybe it was coming. Not that 1-6 stretch, especially because who you had on the schedule. But I think absolutely it was needed. And, I thought there were 2 great hires. I thought Vic did it. That's what Vic does. He's not a great, he was, he tried his hand at the head coach. That's not his thing. Defense is his thing. I thought he did a great job in Miami, even though I think they stink overall. They were pretty good on defense. They were really, really banged up. All their injuries came on the defensive side. You know what I mean? So when I say I thought they stunk, I think they stunk offensively. Or all those first 5 weeks that was little gadget stuff for people to get the little red rockets out. It was cute, putting up 70 against the Broncos. Yippee! Right, but. Not to get on a tangent there, but I thought Vic, that defense was good all year. I thought that defense was good. That defense was good all year. So, I think it's, 2 good hires. And we'll see. Now the players got to play, and this is, Serianni's last chance. Players got to produce now. No more excuses. And Serianni's security blanket, his 1 year security blanket is gone, right? Because everybody really surprised that he's back. I mean, like, he was asked, I think last week in that press conference, what he does right or what he does good, and I don't think he had an answer. I mean, it was kind of embarrassing. I don't know. I
Rock, paper, scissors.
Yeah,
Rock, paper, scissors. Anybody? I'm not trying.
He surely didn't stick his chest out like it wasn't anything confident about the answers. So, we'll see.
Yeah, experienced coordinators, Andrew. That's the big thing.
You know
what I mean? And Andrew or somebody else said, Estefan says, who's that in terms to, Estefan? That's not what people who bleed football say. In terms of what I said or in terms of what Sleeve said. One agreed, one disagreed. So I'm curious what you heard on that end. Wills, Greg, what do you guys say?
I'm going to disagree. I like the Fangio hiring. Like you said, guy that's done it before, always has a good defense. They're always going to compete. And I think we need help on someone that can help build our defense, which I think he'll help. I'm up in the air on Moore, but I do like the fact that he's done it before, multiple spots. Hopefully we run from under center more. I'll be happy about that. But I'm gonna give him a fair shake. I'm just gonna disagree because I want to see how the rest of the offseason plays out. And obviously we didn't end well. We played like shit towards the end of the season. So, but I think I like the hires as a whole, though.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Again, I'm more agree on hey, that puts us in the right direction. There's still a lot you in 3 months from now, if I don't like what we did, I'm out. The personnel has to put me in a full agree mode, right? I'm gonna agree in terms of coaching staff that's good enough to make you a contender. Now, what do you do personnel wise?
Yeah,
there's still a lot to go on here. It ain't this little short story far from being finished being written here. Howie's got a lot of work to do to be the guy that he's on all the memes with the binoculars and all those cute things. He's got a lot of work to do to be back in that conversation again. Because right now he's a step away from the damn closet again. Let's be clear. Let me be 100% clear on what I'm saying. Right? I'm not Tom had all these complaints a week ago. No, they're still here. They're still absolutely here. I just think Nick shored up things around him because he's not good enough at his job from what we've learned. Right? Yeah, so that's shored up. I feel better there. Now, can you make me feel better about the players on the roster?
Honestly. Yeah, that's the only reason I would,
just because of Serianni and Roseman. Yeah.
And I would just, like I said, follow up, what my disagreement was. Like I said, we said it's a good nucleus and, there's a lot to go in the offseason. I just look at it there's still, if you guys can answer this better as Eagle fans, I think you guys are pretty objective. I look at it at least 3 teams better. Doesn't mean the better team always wins, but I think the Niners, Lions, and Packers should be at least better than, because we know the Cowboys are a fraud. That's the way I look at it. Young teams. I don't know what they're all bringing back, but those 3 teams are fairly young. I know how you feel about the Niners, but they're pretty good. So that's what I look at it. If you're the 4th or 5th best team, or are you a contender? I don't know. And maybe they're not. Like I said, we'll see what happens, the rest of the offseason. You know what I mean? They could easily catapult. They could easily be better than those teams. That's just my opinion. You can tell me you're fucking dead wrong, Sweeps. I know
the Packers are gonna have obviously a big loss in Jair Alexander. Well, but again, that's the whole conversation. We don't know what everybody's going to lose yet, right? What are the Lions going to lose? They're going to lose both their coordinators because they're not as good then, right? When we know, they're not going to be as good. Maybe not. Maybe they are, right? Maybe that culture's just there. It doesn't matter. But I think those 2 coordinators did a hell of a job this year. So does that affect them,
for sure.
Right? The Niners are always going to be good because they're young and they got a damn good defense and obviously, Purdy can play a little bit. So, there was question marks coming in the year on what he was, but obviously he proved he can play. It's a prove it. Was a prove it year for him. The injury, obviously ended the season. Was he just a game manager? I don't care. You take your team to a Super Bowl, and you come back from 17 points for a little bit more than a game manager at that point. Even though you had some luck bounce your way, but that's football. You need that ball to bounce your way sometimes. Greg, what do you say to the poll?
Yeah, I sit there and I agree to the poll. When you return what we look to return on the offensive side of the football, and you didn't get worse when you hired the coordinators, right? You look and Kellen Moore, might, like you said, Tom, he might not be the smartest guy in the room, but when you're returning your core, basically your core offense, right? You may have to replace Kelce. Who knows what we're doing in the backfield, right? Swift is your only major free agent on the offensive side of the football. So when you're returning your core, I think you're always going to be dangerous. I do like what Kellen Moore brings in terms of movement, right? Getting receivers open. I mean, if you go look at the spray charts or the route charts of Kellen or Keenan Allen this last year in LA with the Chargers.
Looks like Devontae Smith.
Yeah, you can picture what that being Devontae or AJ, right? And stuff like that. And CD has always been dangerous in Dallas, regardless of who's calling plays, right? And I know it's a testament to CD, but so I like what that brings. And Fangio is going to bring you a tough, base defense. So when you return most of your offense, I'm going to tend to agree. They're in the top 4 or 5 right now coming back. So yeah, I mean, I would say that's a contender for now, and then we can readjust there. But I do like the 2 hires. I like the veteranness of both of them. And Tommy, you mentioned, Kellen Moore being, a head coaching job. The Chargers blocked him from all interviews until they hired Harbaugh. So if they couldn't have gotten Harbaugh, they potentially were going right to Kellen Moore. That's why they blocked him, or that's the assumption of why they blocked him. So
it's absolutely why they blocked him.
Once they hired Harbaugh, then they're like, all right, we can now let Moore go out and interview. And thankfully, we were able to get him because I do like that move.
Yeah, I do too, and hopefully it helps Jalen too. Right?
How's that even legal? I'm seeing guys that are in the playoffs. Yeah. I'm seeing guys in the beginning of the playoffs. The playoffs were starting. Guys were interviewing all over the league. Like, how's that even legal? Because if Harbaugh doesn't retain them and there's no other jobs and the guy's in the unemployment line, I'm sure he's got a nice little bank account. Don't cry for me, Argentina. Kellen will be okay. But I mean, how could you, a guy could be unemployed? I mean, I can't imagine how's that even possible.
Yeah, the only time they stop is this week, I think.
I definitely heard that.
The sweeps or the week leading up into the conference game is the only time you can't interview guys, which is weird. Should be just you have to wait till the Super Bowl. I don't know why we just change it to you have to wait till the Super Bowl. I don't understand the reason.
I think this is a little fraudulent too, Eric. I don't think it's the best QB in the league. The best QB in the league is about to play next 2 Sundays from now. His name's Patrick Mahomes. First of all,
I mean, Herbert was hurt for a lot of the year too.
Yeah, and he was hurt for a lot of the year. And all due respect to Herbert, what's he want before Kellen Moore?
Offense was pretty garbage though, and didn't run the ball a ton.
What'd you say?
Just go put that out there, which is our MO. So
listen,
fits well.
Tom's not wrong, and Eric's just halfway wrong about saying he's the best quarterback. We don't know. Herbert's awesome. We don't know his potential because that's how bad Staley is. Okay,
so now he's got a real.
That's the way I look at it. You know what I mean? But he's not the best quarterback. Come on, that's you watch that today. You watch that in the last 4 weeks. I mean, if you don't think Kermit the Frog is the best quarterback in the league, I got a pair of glasses for you. I mean, come on.
Or just stop watching. Either one.
Go watch the X Games. Go watch
14-1 against everyone that's not Brady in the playoffs.
Go watch snowboarding, dude. Like he's Kermit the Frog. Love him or hate him, is incredible. So.
Yeah, and again, like I said, Justin Herbert hasn't proven anything in this league. So we'll see what he does post, Brandon Staley, obviously, right? But that little through that history, that timeline, he hasn't won anything. So I can't go putting that on Kellen Moore either. Not crowning him, and nobody wins in Dallas.
Yeah, and I agree with what Sweep said about Serianni. Like, this puts his ass on the hot seat 100%, which, I mean, I think a lot of us were kind of surprised he didn't get fired already, so now you bring in your 2 coordinators. One's going to run the offense. One's going to run the defense. You're kind of just the CEO, which means if it doesn't go well, bye-bye Nick. So he better hope it goes well. Better hope he made some right choices here.
Yeah, I mean, they were in such dire need of making changes, and for him to survive was, a lot of us were shocked, but even more shocked. Just the last 8-week dysfunction was, kind of that press conference in a nutshell. Who holds a press conference with their GM and their head coach when he's not fired? There's no other announcement. We're just going to hold a conference. Let's talk a little bit. we just want to chew the fat. Anybody, you got any questions for us? You know what I mean? I thought that was strange.
Well, because it's what they do every year. It's like a PR. It's like their little PR spin to their season. It's what the Eagles do every single year. I don't know many teams that have that type of presser.
Okay. That's on me then. I thought that was new. I've never seen it before. So, but
no, the Eagles do it every year.
Okay. Yep.
As far as I know, right, boys? Like I don't remember a year.
Yeah, I think
where Howie doesn't sit up there and tell you what he did wrong and what he needs to get right.
Him by himself or with the head coach? That's where I'm saying.
Well, if he has a head coach, he's with him.
Okay.
If he doesn't, then he sits up there and he does his Howie act like he's head coach. You know what I mean? Gotcha. So essentially, he is anyway. So, but yeah, he does it every year. And this year, he's decided to tell you how good his linebackers were. So we'll see what next year brings.
Made a point to point that out.
Yeah, thanks, Howie. We got eyes.
Yeah,
and thanks. And Slayer, thanks for super chat. He says he feels bad for Detroit. Dan Campbell just pulled a Doc Rivers. Let the players decide the game instead of dumb coaching. Niners got off the hook. We're gonna save that for the end of the show for me personally. So
I do feel bad for Detroit, though. Let
me keep that in my chamber here.
Oh, absolutely. Don, we love you, Don. Absolutely, Don.
Wherever Don is, we're feeling for you, bro. You're the first person I thought about.
But that's what they say. That's what they say. Playoff experience is for. So not that we're gonna. I know Tom said he's keeping it for later. I'll just go on a 1 second, rant right here. Like that's what playoff experience is about. So they were a year early anyway. All right, then that's no justification for Lions fans and or anybody that hates the 49ers or that was rooting for the Lions. We're trying to catch a ticket to the guy to my left. I mean, that's absolutely feel terrible for the guy. He's been quiet all day. It was almost like he felt it. He felt it coming. So, but that's what experience does for you. You know what I mean? Like you learn your lesson. There's a reason I would never advocate for field goals. You guys know how much I hate kickers and I hate everything about them. Right. But there's a difference between being reckless and being a guy that's a riverboat gambler. Come on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Got to kick field goals today, buddy. Got to kick the field goal. Damn.
I mean, it's also true that they got there by him, playing that way all season, by going for it all year. And then it bit him. I mean, I you can still say that he got them that far by going for it all year, and then he also cost them in the championship game by going for it.
Yeah, I agree with you, and I don't think you're wrong. I'm saying like something like when they played Dallas, like I'm okay with that, even though after 56 penalties, you're from the 8-yard line, kick the goddamn thing, Dan, right? But we addressed that week, so I don't mind that kind of stuff. Like if that's your bravado, that's who you are, cool, right? You're up 14, buddy, in the playoffs. That's automatic. You go up 17 straight scores. Yep. There's not a time to stick your chest out there. Come on, man. That was football's one play. Football's all momentum, man. Come on.
Yeah, that's always my biggest thing with the analytics guys that say, "Oh, you make it more than 50% of the time." Yeah, but guess what? The momentum is a real thing.
Oh yeah,
and
you always have the supporters.
You give them so much more momentum when they stop you on fourth.
That's what I'm saying. The nerds are going to come out and tell us that he was justified. Guys that doesn't make us like we are old school guys, but we're guys that that know football and listen. And we understand, time and score. You're approaching midway through the third. You go up by 17.
I was actually okay with that first one, Sweeps. The second one, you got to kick. You're down 10. You have to kick. I mean, I don't know what you're doing. It's a full 3.5 yards. You have to kick it. They would have tied it at the end.
Yep. Kobe says Nick not being able to call plays will be his downfall. I don't mind Nick getting another year, but it feels like Howie and Jeffrey are just delaying the inevitable of him getting fired. It's definitely a concern because if you remember year one, he called plays. We started out 2-5, right? He gave up that play calling Shane Steichen. We ended up going to the playoffs. This year, he tells you it's his offense. We didn't look great scoring what we did through our first 11 weeks, even though we were putting up points. We didn't look great doing it. Continue to say it's his offense. That offense goes 1-6 down the stretch. So.
Yeah, and 100% true. Listen, if you're the offense, you're an offensive head coach, and you're not calling the plays. And apparently, from what I was hearing, they were telling all the guys that they were interviewing that you're coming in to run your offense. Like Kellen Moore, you're coming in to run your offense. So if that's the case, then Nick we have a bad year. Nick's gone. I mean, it's over. What does he do? He doesn't do anything. It's like when they asked him, Sweeps, he didn't have an answer because he don't do nothing. What do you do? Well, I don't do anything. I don't do nothing.
I run the team.
I don't think he's a master motivator.
Well, I just feel like he was like, yeah, I'm going to put my head in this room. I'm going to put my head in this room. I think he's over his head. I think he's been over his head from day one. I just think this team's won despite of it somehow. And I don't want to take away wins from a head coach either, right? It's sort of unfair. But we're going to find out. You're going to find out this year, was he really over his head or the guys play for him? Because it looked like at the end of the year, guys stopped playing for him.
Yeah, and his back against the wall now.
They stopped playing for some reason.
Yeah.
You're right. We haven't figured out what, but yeah.
Backs against the wall. You either take a beating or you come out fighting. We'll see what happens.
And you would have thought heading to a playoff game that you'd be all ships sailing in the right direction, right? You know what I mean? Because everyone's getting paid extra for playoffs.
I mean, if you didn't smell that killing coming, I don't know. We stunk. We stink.
Yeah, that's pretty much what it was. The CEO of the team. Yeah, I mean, that's what he is. The CEO of the team. What does that even matter? What does that even mean? I mean, I thought that was Jeffrey Lurie, right? So it's like, what? And then again, and Ethan said that was a team that had the worst collapse of all time.
And it's funny too, Tommy, because you brought it up, and you thought at least initially there was a little bit of self reflection or being able to look in the mirror, right? Year one, we stink out the gate, hand it over, things go well, right? I mean, yeah, we still end up losing in the playoffs, but at least we got there after starting 2-7. So you're like, all right, maybe this guy does look in the mirror at times and his ability to, change and address and shift gears week in, week out, halfway through the season. Then he never, at least to our knowledge, never took back play calling. And now I'm saying that wasn't the answer, but as you're going through an 8-week drought like we did, something changes or something's got to change, you would think, right?
Yeah,
you did it early in the year, 1 year. Why didn't you reverse it and come back and say, all right, this is my offense. If I'm going down with the ship, then let me go down with the ship.
Well, how about this?
Yeah, agreed,
too?
Greg. That's my biggest concern, Greg, honestly. Sorry, Tommy. It's just the fact that you saw it going down and you did no changes to it. You still want to say, oh, yeah, that's my offense. Well, I mean, everyone with eyes can tell you that nothing's working. You better change some shit up. No changes. Just keep running.
Well, yeah, he did. Yeah, he did. He was the CEO of making a defensive coordinator change, not firing a guy.
Well, that's true.
Taking him off of play calling, moving him to the booth to still be around everybody, and then making Matt Patricia into your defensive coordinator. And through all this, nobody even said a word about it. It was like, hey, we made this move, but nobody bring it up, right? Nobody bring it up. And at the end of it, at the end of the year, he held himself. He held himself accountable, which you can say like, oh, that's a good thing. I'm not saying it's a good thing, but he held himself accountable, saying, yeah, looking back on it, probably shouldn't have did that. But what? What'd you say? Okay, well, we could have told you that. That was the defense at that point of the year wasn't the problem, right? It wasn't really a problem. Yeah. It was like, it's not good, right? It could be better, but it wasn't like the sacks weren't up or anything, but it wasn't like the defense wasn't putrid, right? It was like a little bit of a rough patch, and then that rough patch just got worse because even the players said it's hard. That's hard. You have a different play caller now. Like, that's a hard adjustment. So, I mean, that just tells you everything you know. If that's the CEO of your team and that guy's overseeing all the goddamn decisions, well, I'm worried about the decisions. Yeah. Even though I'll agree to the poll still, because I want to be a glass half full. But, that's all comes down to Howie Roseman, right? If he goes out and has an A+ offseason, then yeah, it seems a contender. Like Greg said, your whole offense is back. You heard Travis Kelce and Jason Kelce. I'm sure not many people picked it up. But I heard one more year in their little hug out at the end of the year. I don't know if that was one more in terms of Travis going to get one more, right? Which it easily could have been. Or it meant Jason, he wanted that feeling again, right? Man, screw it. I'll go one more. I heard one more. So, I'm not a source guy.
He's going to do one more.
I got crushed over this.
I'd love him to go one more. I think it's done.
I don't. I think when you have $15 million, $20 million on the table and you're still playing at an elite level, I think it's hard to pass that money up, Ed. And he's made a lot of money, sure. But that money just says, okay, well, this is for whatever. This is our retirement money. This is this money, whatever it may be, right? Like, obviously, he's going to make a lot of money doing what he's doing.
I was going to say, the podcast's going to make him that. So
it will, but another year makes that podcast even bigger. There's nothing better than you still being relevant.
He's already out there making it bigger by chugging beers with Bills fans and shit. It's all
No.
it's a podcast publicity tour right now he's on.
No, I know what he's on, Wills, but my point is there's nothing better than a current player, right? That podcast is still going to be really good. Don't get me wrong. But if you have a few years to run that while you're a current player, like this will be his third year next year running that podcast, him and his brother. Yeah, the podcast is even going to be bigger than it would if he stopped playing.
I mean, his brother dates the biggest pop star in the world, so definitely helps the podcast.
Yeah, definitely not going to hurt it. Definitely not going to hurt it for sure.
Also, exactly what the NFL wanted this weekend. The two teams they wanted to win.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd say this worked out well for the NFL.
Just that I feel bad for Detroit. Bad collapse. Even you take away the fourth downs and the decisions to go for it, which the one probably should have been caught by Josh Reynolds. They had two bad drops by Reynolds. They had the one that goes off the defensive guy's face mask and then caught by Ayuk. Like, fumble by Gibbs. Just a collapse. A monumental collapse.
Key says Nick does a lot to change the order of his core values every week. Yeah, it's a lot to do. That's a lot to do. So, like, yeah, we'll see what happens with the coordinator. There's so much more to go on this off season. Right? We'll get through the Super Bowl, and we'll start to get in the free agency, and we'll see what happens there. See what Howie Roseman is able to do there, and then obviously, that'll take us in the draft season. And we'll see what kind of players we can get there. So we have a lot of football left to go, per se, before we can talk really our expectations for a season. But definitely a good start in terms of the Philadelphia Eagles, right? They definitely got off to a great start. And, all you can say is, hey, go hire what's in front of you. What's the best in front of you. And they're arguably two of the better names out there. So I can't complain. I know there's people out there giving it like a D and like a C-. I think that's just egregious.
Yeah. I'd like to know what did those guys want? Like there's not much left.
Yeah, everyone that doesn't like Fangio, I'd like to know why. Fangio's been a very good defensive coordinator in this league. I understand he doesn't blitz as much. We don't blitz anyway.
Well, part of those people are probably part of the security team. You got to have built-in excuses. It's the easiest thing to do in life. And it's not just the Eagles. I mean, there are three guys here. Think I'm picking on them, but it's everything in life, right? That's the way the human nature is for 96% of people. They got to have a built-in excuse. So if they don't like the coordinators from jump, easiest thing to say in week 5, I told you so. I told you so. He's really good. We can't find anybody to call plays. This is unbelievable. Come on. You'll know. Big year for number one.
Very big year.
And the
Very
Eagles.
big, very big year. Very big
Eagles, number one. Big year for number one, the Birds, and their fans.
It's a monster year.
Was it a mistake? Was it a mistake?
Monster year for Jalen Hurts.
Was it? We'll see.
Absolutely a monster year for him.
Yeah, it is.
He's proven he can win playoff games. He's proven he's done that. I'll give him that. He has gone to a Super Bowl, so I will give him that. But, after the collapse that just happened, that Super Bowl was a long time ago.
Yeah.
Right. So, this year's got to be a big year for him on, so many levels. Right. You got to see some things this season. And getting an offensive coordinator with a good track record, you hope helps him because now all eyes are on you. You can't
got to help him.
Yeah, you can't start going and blaming Kellen Moore because it can't be like Sweep said. It can't be all the coordinators' faults. Yeah. At some point, you got to put it on the guy who is in charge of it all, and that's him.
And they got weapons. That'll never
you're
be.
You're watching a quarterback that's doing it. You're watching these new quarterbacks ad-lib their way to a post to a Super Bowl. Mahomes ad-libs like nobody's business, and Brock Purdy won a game today by ad-libbing.
Yeah, bunch of plays with his feet today.
Bunch of stuff off script, man. When it's off script, it's different. Right? Yeah, that's what people say. Game manager. There ain't no game manager in the country that can off script with their legs and their arm, and that's why that's why a lot of quarterbacks still playing are those types of quarterbacks. Lamar on the other side, Josh Allen, right? Guys who can ad-lib with their legs and make plays. That's what makes you dangerous. X's and O's are great, right? X's and O's are great, but what usually wins is the ability to make something out of nothing, right? Those types of plays are really what separates you as you get this deep into the season, right? This deep, right? I'm not going to say week 5 of a year. Yeah, you can have XO and win just XL, but at some point in the year, your feet, your pocket presence, right? All those things got to take over. And that's what Mahomes does every year.
It's just
with nobody. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's a typical crock of shit. I said it's just whatever side, wherever the hatred comes from, those guys try to justify. You know what I mean? So, he's a game manager. Oh, that's cute, right? The Ravens had the best team in football, did they not?
Yeah.
So one guy was the last pick. One guy was the last pick in the draft. The other guy was the 30th pick in the first round. One guy's playing in the Super Bowl. Come on, man. Come on. So manage that all you want. Giddy up, right? I mean, manage what, right? Because they're also the same people that tells me that the Niners have a bad defense too. That's a cute take too. They're not the 85 Bears, but they're pretty good.
Front seven is the best in football.
Pretty good.
You can run on them.
Pretty good. Yeah, that was.
I think they're very solid, very tough to pass on usually, and they've done it with a couple different guys back there in their secondary. I think they're very young now.
Well, listen, now we're going to segue Super Bowl predictions, Chiefs, Niners. Let's talk about it. Brought to you by Gleason's Bar, located 5700 Mill Creek Avenue, Levittown, PA. Use promo code A2D, get 10% off your order. And as you're listening and tuning in right now, make sure you hit the like, hit the subscribe, turn your alerts on, stay with us, baby. Comment in who you got. Oh, everybody on this screen knows exactly who I'm not taking. Load me up on the Kansas City Chiefs, baby. Give me that 2.5
plus money
all goddamn day, please.
Money line me. I'm money lining up.
Because the biggest collapse in Super Bowl history got a little biggest collapse in NFC title game history today from the other side. So Kyle Shanahan, the football gods, rewarded him today. Rewarded him because at the end of the day, he is a really good coach. I tried never to take that away from him. I think he's a perennial loser. And top with that comes with he's not a perennial loser, but top with that comes with the fact the Niners talk a lot they have a lot to say all the time. So I have more disdain for them.
I knew. I figured before the kickoff that your fucking panties were in a super bunch, because I even was like, holy shit. Because when Aaron Andrews reported what he said, I went, this motherfucker here. He was saying Lions haven't played a team like us. They haven't seen they haven't seen us. They got no idea what they're in for. And it was 14-9. I went,
Yep. And I thought Karma got them too. And it didn't. It didn't. But Karma's going to get it in 2 weeks from now. There ain't no
CJ Gardner-Johnson waving bye to the fans at 21-7. I don't like that kind of karma.
But I'll bring him back next year.
That's a bad move.
Bring him back next year. I think I only signed a 1-year deal there. So you want to bring him back? Circle back? Make up for your mistakes, Howie? No, you're going to bring him back? I'll take it in a heartbeat. Oh, you can wave all day. He didn't give it up.
He talked shit about the Eagles fans after he left. I don't want him.
Yeah, it happens. Emotion.
No,
I talk shit on us all the time.
I don't want him. Fuck off.
Did they score?
I talk about us all the time.
Did they score after that penalty? After the interception, he got the ridiculous penalty. Did they score on that drive?
Yeah, right. They did. No, I don't know. Did they?
No, I'm asking because that's how horrible that's terrible. I mean, so
yeah, it's terrible. Yeah, but give me the Chiefs. It's hard to bet against them. I mean, the Niners are really good. They're the better. Niners are the overall better football team, but the Chiefs just proved to you that there's that light switch for greatness that turns on for that cat. You know what I mean? So that's all we found out. Like that.
Absolutely.
Because the question everybody had an agenda going in, right? Oh, he's never went on the road, right? Oh, never went on the road. You don't start saying that to greatness, right? You say that to greatness, you give him another bullet in his chamber to go in with, right? That's all they did to him. As soon as I heard people that being the narrative going into the playoffs, right? I'm like, oh my God, they're going back. They're going back. Right in my head, I'm like, they're going back.
Well, talk about playing possum. You know what I mean? Eagle fans were hoping the Eagles.
Yeah, Chad Johnson got the wrong team.
They were hoping the Eagles were playing possum, for those 7 weeks. And
it was Ocho Cinco was just wrong on his team.
Tampa Bay put it on them there. And that's the kind of the way I looked at the Chiefs all year. Like, I mean, obviously, I was joking earlier, like, I was like, yeah, I'll go there. Didn't realize it was going to be -8. But like, they just didn't, they were just, I don't want to say pedestrian, but they just didn't do it for me all year,
Well, they were pedestrian.
But their defense was great.
Halfway
their
through the year, they were
great.
bad.
Yeah, I was going to say, but their defense was great all year. Spags has been phenomenal.
That is one thing you're right. So that is one thing you can't take away. This is the best defense that Patrick's had.
And that's what, it's unbelievable. Spags is,
and the best running game he's had too.
Spags has done a great job. And
it's hands down the best running game he's had too. So it just shows you defense, running the football still matter. And the other side of it is we poo-pooed that win at Arrowhead, right? A few weeks after, because they went really in struggle mode, if you remember, right? Right after we beat them, they went south, and we sort of poo-pooed that. Now you look back on it and you're like, to back to the poll, it's like, well, really, if we didn't put our heads so far up our asses, could we be a team? Could we be a team still playing? Right? You know what I mean? It just makes you laugh. It makes you.
Oh, you're right. And he makes that catch today. He makes that catch today, and he drops it against the Eagles. So it's just, it's winning time. You know what I mean? It's just, it's winning time. Good teams win. In the playoffs, great players absolutely take their game to an elite level, and that's what they have here. You know what I mean? And these two as a combo, however you feel about Andy, and I understand he's linked to this guy, and that's great and all. You know what I mean? He also picked him. He also moved up to take him. So there's the absolute genius right there. So he can't penalize the guy for having him. But I mean, come on. Besides Belichick, Belichick, okay, he's got all the Super Bowls. I get it. So, he is considered he's considered the GOAT. But I mean, Andy Reid in the last 25 years, he's got. It's got to be two. Got to be two.
I know.
One or one. Might be one.
I still got the poster above my bed. First off, and second off, I put a post out today saying the same thing. Like in reality, like it keeps me up at night wondering if Andy was still here. Would he have gotten Mahomes here, right? Like, would he have traded up and got Mahomes here? Because obviously that was his pick. That was what he targeted from being the QB guy he is, right? That's who he wanted and handpicked. So then I wonder, oh man, if he was still here, would we be having this success? Would we have Taylor in the box, right? Would we? Obviously, they already had Travis Kelce, but you know what I mean. I could deal with Brittany Mahomes if I had Pat. You know what I mean? Sign me up for it.
Yeah, I mean, obviously a lot of what ifs. So we'll see. That's why that Tampa Bay one was so huge, just for historical reasons. You know what I mean? And they still have to play this one. You know what I mean? But just had they not stumbled that one to Brady, all it becomes 6-4. Becomes 6-4 both ways. Comes 6-4 head coach, 6-4. GOAT Brady and Pat. Assholes would have got tight. Vinny Mass, that asshole would have got tight, buddy. You would have been like, holy shit, is he still the GOAT?
Yeah, honestly, if he goes and wins it, I'm creeping up on him anyway, in my opinion. You know what I mean? If my opinion, he's not better. Just because of the stuff he does. You know what I mean? Like, Brady's the ultimate. Still. Yeah, Brady's an ultimate winner,
he's very young.
But like what he does with his legs and on the move is just like
I don't think talent-wise there's ever even a comparison. That's like CBS putting up the thing today, QB versus QB comparison. That's a QB versus running back comparison. If you're talking about Mahomes and Lamar, I don't know what CBS is doing. I don't know. I don't know what CBS was doing. So, to Tom's point, absolutely. If you're talking about talent, it's not even close. This guy's the most talented QB to ever play.
See the other guy run?
Probably to ever play the game. You know what I mean? But Brady's the best winner. So that's how you get there. That's how you get there.
For right now.
Yeah, and Tom was good too. I'm not taking anything away from Tom.
Tom
was pretty good. Tom was pretty good. I'm saying,
I'm not a Tom hater.
Talent-wise, this guy's unreal.
Yeah, he put a hypothetical gun to my head.
This guy got hit. This guy almost got hit the same way. It's just so funny how it just always links back to them too, because he got hit just like Brady today. Brady's leg snapped in half. He was out in week 1 all those years ago, and Mahomes was like, "I'm good." He just bent back. He's got no bones. Got no bones in his body. A little Gumby action. It was crazy.
Both my knees blew out watching that hit.
Well, who do you guys got?
Can't even
What's your
go down.
predictions?
He stayed up on that sweep
Yep,
somehow.
Yep.
What's your predictions?
I'll be right back.
Kansas City money line.
Oh, no.
Lock it in. Lock
Here's
it in.
I know I
Lock
have
it
my
in.
charger. I know I have my charger down here. Sorry.
Lock it in.
Yeah, I probably won't watch, but I'll take the Chiefs. The lesser of the two evils.
Such a weird nerd you are. I
You
probably
don't
won't watch.
What does that even?
Yeah.
What does that even mean?
I have no
Yeah,
desire to
weirdo.
watch this Super Bowl.
No desire.
I have no desire to.
What does that mean? What did you get all up in arms for?
He's such a weird. You're such a
You do this.
weirdo.
You do this with random times, like throughout our lives together here. You do this at
Why do you
random
guys-
times. With,
why do you
you
guys
get
only
up in
go-
arms about.
I just don't care to watch Andy win another one, and I definitely don't want to watch San Fran win another one.
It's
Well,
the
that
biggest
was
football
one
game
of
of
the
the
Super
year,
Bowl
Greg.
party, and I'm
San
like,
Fran hasn't
I'm
won
like-
once since the '90s, so
It's the biggest football
yeah, I
game of
just
the
hate
year,
San
Greg.
Fran with all the crap they've talked recently, and there was nothing more than I
well,
wanted.
wouldn't that just
them to
wouldn't that
lose
just
today.
get you? Wouldn't that
Yeah, they
just get
backed
you
it up.
rock
Yeah, but
hard-
then I got
rock
to root
hard
for Andy. But
Well,
then I
what's
got
wrong
to
with
root
that?
for Andy, and I don't want
What's wrong
to.
with that? What's
I
wrong
don't
with
like
that,
to.
then?
I don't like Andy.
He brought you your first taste of good football here. Yeah, I mean,
He
you were
did.
talking about being a spoiled little
Greg,
little
Greg
diva.
is a.
You know what I mean? You
listen,
sound like
you can't
Jalen.
help- You can't.
You
fix
sound
it,
like
Bob. You
Jalen
can't
Hurts.
fix it.
It's like Greg Milakovic is like Jalen Hurts in meetings now. Little diva,
100%.
hard to approach, unapproachable. You know what I mean? That's what you sound like when it comes when it
It's
comes
fair.
to Andy.
It's fair because I just want him to fail.
I love Andy,
Yeah.
so I never.
Hate to
I
break
never.
it to you.
I like a big
It's not-
FU to
it's not
Jeffrey
failing.
Lurie. I love FUs to Jeffrey Lurie. I love shoving it right up Jeffrey's you know what and just a little deeper every Super Bowl he wins because that was the guy that created the gold standard here that went through a little adversity and you thought he was done coaching. So that's a Jeffrey Lurie decision. Right? Maybe it was time to go. Maybe he needed a fresh start somewhere else. I get it. I got no problem with that decision, right? Looking back on it. But keep in mind, don't be mad at Andy because Jeffrey's the one who moved on.
I didn't like Andy much when he was here, so
I don't know how you didn't like Andy.
we never won.
That
We didn't
may
get
be
over the hump.
dumbest- That's the dumbest fucking thing you've ever said. And you
I
said
truly
some dumb
never did.
shit. That's amazing.
I will say this
Incredible.
though, I'm not an
hated-
idiot, so
I
I'd
hated
sign up
winning
for
the
that
division
run
every year,
all
Tom.
time.
It was awful. I hated winning the division every year. It was terrible. Going to the NFC Championship game every year.
and
so
then collapsing
terrible.
and losing like we did every year.
Idiot. You're an
Yeah,
idiot. You are an idiot.
I am.
Yes, you are.
We know.
It shows how much winning he did there.
John, you can sign me up. Guess what? I understand we didn't win the Super Bowl. You can tell me tomorrow we're going to go to the next 4 NFC Championship games. Sign me the fuck up.
And I would
Sign
agree
me
with you.
up.
I would agree with you.
Oh,
You
if
just
that's
said
the
you
case,
hated it.
if that's the case, I'll work a little harder with Nick's kid because I know he's going to be here for a while when I get him in, at the facility. You know what I mean? And I know
Where
he's
you
sticking
train
around.
matters.
Yeah. Well, I'll just be I'll get a little more hands on because I know a guy's here for 4 years. But no, all jokes aside, like I would sign up for that. If you told me Nick was going to 4 NFC title games and he lost all 4, I'd say, all right, I'm in.
Well,
I'm in.
I would hope that we wouldn't lose all 4. But if you tell me we're going to go to the next 4 NFC Championship games, yes, hell yes, sign me up. You don't even got to tell me what's going to happen. Just sign me up.
Yeah, I think the Super Bowl everybody probably won it, which would have been different. Would have been the
How many
Detroit
championship
Baltimore.
games has Andy been to now?
Oh.
Is this 7 straight for the Chiefs?
Yes.
Yes.
Holy shit.
I think he's been every year
12?
since he left
You've been
us.
to 12?
12 A's,
Oh,
12 championship games,
I
6
think he's
straight.
been every year
with the
since he
Chiefs.
left us.
6 straight.
No,
6
that's
straight
not
with
true,
the Chiefs.
Greg. He had
Six
Alex
straight.
Smith
Close.
for a while. He had Alex Smith for a while there.
6 straight with the Chiefs.
Okay,
6 or 7. Is it 7 or 6?
I think it's 6. They said this week, so maybe it's 7.
I don't. Yeah, it's 6 or 7.
Either way, a lot.
It's a lot.
3 Super
So,
Bowls.
That's on you, Jeffrey. That's on
3
you. I'll
Super
say
Bowls.
that the day he got fired, I said it. So I'm not running from it. The day he got fired, I said he's not done coaching. But he's going to win a lot of games somewhere because he's a great coach. Right? You better have a great replacement. Well, they didn't have a great replacement at the time because they went Chip Kelly. Right? So that didn't age well. Right? And then you went to his tree because you messed up. You messed up so bad that you went back to his tree. Only to win a Super Bowl and say, you know what? We're not going to give this guy any power in the room. Okay, like I can't. My biggest fear is with Howie, and I know I said I want to trust them because they always find ways to win games because they do. But my biggest fear is that they always get in the way of themselves. They always find a way to get in the way of themselves and of winning.
Straight. Sorry, six straight. Six straight. Patriots got them. Got them. Bengals got them.
Patriots, Bengals and the Bucks. Yep.
Well, Bucks in the final. I'm talking about Patriots in the AFC Championship game and the Bengals in the AFC Championship game.
Oh, okay, yeah.
They beat the Bills.
Yeah.
Yep. They beat the Bills.
He's 14-1. Well, Mahomes is 14-1 in the playoffs against everyone that's not Brady. Lost to the Patriots and lost to the
And they've
Bills.
gone to 6 straight title games.
Titans coughed up that 21-0 lead, I think, that year.
Yep, Tommy. 6 straight.
6 straight.
6 straight. Patrick's pretty good. He's not bad.
Yeah. Marcus, you're right.
Honestly, I'll tell you what's crazy is I thought who might be pulling the biggest don't forget I can still play football is Travis Kelce. I thought he was like, he looks done. All year looks slow, looks old. Yeah. Guess not. Just give me the playoffs.
A guy you think they were trying to take away. Right? You would think that's like, okay, this is probably going to be number one. We're going to take him away, and they weren't able to. So it just goes to his greatness too, and their chemistry, right?
Yeah,
and their chemistry.
That's exactly where I'm going. That right there, great call on the first touchdown. That's good coverage by Kyle Hamilton. The ball's thrown at the pylon, down, right down, like he goes down on Taylor Swift, only where he can get it, and he caught it, baby. And that's nobody can defend that. I mean, it's an unreal throw, low and away, baby.
Oh yeah. He got a little loving last night, Martian. He felt like he was like 10 years younger, running the rats, probably sang him a lullaby. You know what I mean? Now she was, right on down it. Singing right into the microphone, if you know what I mean.
You serious, Clark?
That's great.
Singing on the mic. A lot of turbulence involved.
Goddamn fucking Chiefs, dude.
Yeah, I mean, Kyle Hamilton's a good player, right?
I don't see any chance. I don't see any chance that the Chiefs lose this game, honestly. And I know they're underdogs. The fucking San Francisco should have lost to Green Bay.
Dude, would you not hit your quota tonight? Your quota is 3 bombs, and you've dropped. Now you got off the rail. 50 minutes in,
Greg,
you're going like a 7
That's
spot.
Greg's fault. That was Greg's fault.
It is.
That was Greg's fault.
I haven't done any, right?
No, I think you've been pretty clear tonight, but wait till the Crum comes.
Well, no, on the Lamar weekend, I'm surprised I'm clean right now.
Well,
I'm really growing up. I'm really growing up. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we haven't got there yet.
I popped that champagne. The curse words went away.
Luke's all grossed up. He's all grossed up.
Guy left $1 million crumbs already for Crum of the week. He's just dropping them as we go. Just great radio.
I've been trying to think of who I got to crumb because I know who he's crumbing. I can't crumb the same guy. I got to go somewhere else.
No, you can. I don't think I'm going to use it. It's expected every year. So I mean, there's no reason to pick on the guy in the crumb category.
I just feel like, tell me how is San Fran going to beat this Chiefs team? San Fran got lucky against Green Bay. They should have lost today. Let's be honest. I mean, Detroit, absolute collapse. Like I said, fumbles, drop passes, drop interceptions, 2 turnovers on downs, still lost by 3 points in San Fran. God, there's no chance the Chiefs are losing this game.
And they keep making the Chiefs dogs too. Like
they're 2.5-point dogs. I can't wait to bet them.
Yeah, you know how they can lose it, Will, and you know how, right? It's simple pressure. And what can San Fran do? Well, if the one thing we know San Fran can do is create pressure on the quarterback, right? So if there's a way they can beat them, there's your way right there.
Running at Chase Young all game. Dude stinks. Bust.
Oh, yeah, he's a perennial loser. I don't care what anybody says. So
I like some guys on that San Fran defense, but they're mainly the linebackers.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Habib, yes, I do think they can get him back this offseason. I know he said some things, but I do think that the Eagles could get CJ back if they really wanted to. I'm not like pounding the table for him. I'm just saying over Reed Blankenship and Kevin Byers not going to be back. So whoever else you think's playing back there, Sidney Brown coming off an ACL, which I'm sure he's not going to be ready for the start of the season. Yeah, I would take that over what I have back there from trying to go to a Super Bowl for sure. So Wilson can sit here and be put his nose up to stuff.
I'm just saying that I don't think he's going to be back. Guys that leave and talk shit on the city, you don't usually bring back. They usually not.
The city is his city should get shit talked on him half the time. You know what I mean? With some of the things that comes out of these
I'm not going to deny that. I'm just saying I don't bring them back. I'll find somebody else.
Well, you just contradict yourself. You just contradict yourself because
well, listen, we all have guys that we drop that gets us riled up, and we drop the stinks bomb on. It is what it is. Not saying that's what you were saying about him. Just rewind a couple minutes. Rewind a couple minutes. You take Chase Young 6 days out of 7 on the Eagles, and you would, right? Couple doggy plays today that you highlighted. I thought that was cute, and that was a great job by you. I love the Madden thing you had there. You circled him. You had, all right, right here. This guy, he's eating a little dog food right there. He's eating a little Alpo right here, standing around trying to arm tackle. That was a beautiful job by you. Using the telescope.
3 of those a week. We can buy 3 of those a week.
I understand.
3 every week.
We'd still take
him. He's got a 3-piece every week of where he's sitting around eating chicken, watching people run by him.
Well, I mean, he's used to play with the Redskins.
He's like, give me a 3-piece and
That's why he's a loser.
Let these guys run right by me.
I got you.
Yeah, I'm in on Chase Young, by the way.
I think he's a little bit. I'll give you that.
I think he's a loser too. But if you told me we signed him in 3 weeks from now, I'm like, okay, then I'm going to go look at all the good plays. You know what I mean? I'm going to go look at all the plays.
I think the Bears got the better guy.
Oh yeah, Montez Sweat's better.
Sweat's better.
Yes. He's going to actually stop the run. And you know what's funny? Right after I watched that play and I commented on that Twitter video that he's a perennial loser, the next play, my luck, my luck. Next play, he goes downhill and smokes Pacheco. Or not Pacheco, whatever, Jahmyr Gibbs. Smokes Gibbs and Montgomery on a handoff for like a 2-yard loss. And I'm like, yep. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of comments coming back to me after this one.
Well, that's
I'm surprised he didn't get a pick 6 right after. And it'd be like the fastest running time from a DN in NFL history by ESPN Stats and Analytics, right? Like the department's like, guys are 40 miles an hour. Then the DN, and that was coming like right after one-handed pick 6. It's coming 2 weeks from now. Write it down somewhere. Mahomes ad-lib, and then you're going to freaking see Chase Young catch it with a dreadlock and run 42 miles an hour.
Chase Young has a pick 6. I'll kill myself on air.
Yes. The day I've been waiting for. You want ratings? I've been waiting for ratings.
I'm going to be hanging from the ceiling fan. All right.
I need viral. This is what I've been waiting for.
I put that fan in. It's sturdy. Okay.
Hey, just went from good friends to fucking to boss cat real quick. Hey, that's going to get us a lot of views.
It's bigger than me. So, my condolences, Brian.
That's fine. Hey, it's bigger than me. If Chase Young has a pick 6, it's bigger than me. I hope ATD blows up.
Yeah, we will. I might leave you up there for weeks. I might leave you up there for weeks.
You saw
the camera.
I'm going to need you to come kick the chair out from underneath me.
Oh yeah, you saw what it did for the Bills. You saw, Sean McDermott's showing those videos all the time. You know what it did for the Bills. He was showing those videos for weeks.
Yo, I swear, I think it would have been better if Andy last week after they beat the Bills, if he came out to the press conference and was like, "Ladies and gentlemen, we got him."
That'd be awesome. Oh my god. They were like 7-1 after the speech, though. It really did rally the troops.
Oh yeah.
I mean, say what you want.
And that's what they said to him, Sean. We got your 6.
He just came in. Akbar.
We got your 6.
Oh my god.
A couple of frogmen. Anybody see the frogmen?
It just goes. I love this show.
His army crawling. Anybody see my defensive coordinator? Hey, where's my defensive coordinator? He's army crawling in the back of the room there. We'll be here in a second.
Him currently.
he won't. He'll be a little late to the press conference. He's army crawling to the podium.
Gave up a third and 18. He's getting waterboarded right now.
Gonna need a minute. Oh, poor Leslie Frazier. That's what happened to him. Poor guy. Oh,
I've never
Getting
stood
it right now.
he never had a chance.
Leslie's getting it right now.
Never had a chance.
I mean, did you see the Tower Bass meme? The Tower Bass meme might be the best one.
Oh, I can imagine.
I
can imagine he moved
Connect
already.
The dots, I
can imagine he moved. Yeah.
Yeah. Just say, like to Wilson's point with the chair, there might have been a knife involved. You know, some things were said.
Oh, yeah.
In that meme.
I mean, yeah. What did you think was going to happen? Not you, just anybody. I mean, these are the same idiots that jump off RVs onto tables that are flaming hot Cheetos. You know what I mean? Like their ass cracks are on fire. You know, guy misses a field goal. You're gonna have to move 4 times. You know what I mean? You might as well live in your car down by the river.
And not Buffalo.
that's like the Friday Night Lights when Billy Bob's like, he's like, yeah, they're a tough team, and we're pretty tough too. So get it done, or what? That'd be a bad thing for you, you know? That'd be a bad thing. We're not moving again, are we? It's possible.
Habib wants to know what kind of offense Kellen Moore will run. I think it's a little bit of a it's like a little bit of a West Coast style.
Coast-ish? I think it's West
Coast.
Coast. West Coast-ish.
Pistol-ish?
I think it is a little West Coast.
West Coast-ish. Yeah. I mean, I don't want to say that they don't run the ball as much because the Chargers just they haven't been able to run the ball for 3 years, pretty much 2 years, I should say. And so they didn't run the ball a ton this year, but they couldn't run the ball. So maybe that's a part of that, because I think they did run the ball a good amount when he was at Dallas. So we'll see.
Yeah, they had Zeke.
Yeah, they ran the ball a good amount when he was in Dallas.
And then this year in San Diego, I'll never say LA.
Yeah,
this year in San Diego,
the Chargers. Yeah,
the offensive line wasn't good enough, and Eckler was hurt the whole year.
Yeah,
there's a reason why
they couldn't run the ball last year before he was there. So.
Well, yeah, but there's a reason why Eckler's, and I know it's the passing game, but Eckler was was a top 5 fantasy pick because of the offense out there.
All right, I got it for you guys. So he's a modified West Coast offense scheme. Lots of spread, 11 personnel, pre-snap motion, play action, RPOs, and the use of zone blocking in the run game. So there you go.
I like a lot of motion. I like a lot of motion because I feel like we didn't run a whole lot of motion at all this year. Try to get some guys open in space. Anything's better than throwing 122 wide receiver screens.
Well, this is the big thing, Tony. He runs a lot of option routes where the QB and the wide receiver decide on the fly. Well, guess what?
We're going to have to work that up, aren't we? That's big on Jalen.
Yours on that one.
Yeah.
That's a lot of reading the defense there.
So we'll see how he grows into it. He will, and JD says he will run a lot more motion. Yeah, we talked about that. He definitely
that's
will.
Something I like for sure.
He definitely will. All right, so now we got a segue. Sixers talk, which is brought to you. Man, I ate too much food before we came on here tonight. Feeling it every time I try to get a readout. All right, so we're going to segue Sixers little West Coast trip, and that is brought to you by our good friend Alan Foy over at eXp Realty. Go check them out if you're looking to buy, sell, rent house. Go check them out. Alan Foy, eXp Realty, 302-682-8820. Give them a call. Send them a text. Tell them you heard them from the boys on A2D Radio. And make sure if you're just tuning in, hit the like, subscribe, follow, join the conversation with us. Turn your alerts on. So Sixers West Coast trip has already obviously began last night or yesterday afternoonish in Denver.
If you want to count that, since no one played.
Yeah, so I'm not really counting that. So tomorrow night, 10 p.m., Portland Trailblazers. They head to Portland. You get a back-to-back with the Warriors. Then they travel to Utah. And, and then they come home for Brooklyn. So that's their little run through the West Coast trip. Sort of a little bit of an easy one, right? Per se. In terms
I think Portland played today, right? So they're on a back-to-back tomorrow.
Yes, then it'll be on
Yeah.
back to back.
Okay. Well, we like that. That should helpful.
And Joe, Joe down to 6 games. Can only miss 6 more games, Joe.
Yeah.
Which might not matter to most people because we say, yeah, let's be ready for the playoffs. And and I agree with that. But when you're having this kind of season, you need to hoist the, individually, you need to hoist it as well.
I agree. I mean, he's the MVP right now.
Yeah.
Hands down.
Come on.
I just don't understand why we're sitting out games on Saturday when we already announced that Maxey and aren't playing, and then they just say, "Oh, knee soreness," 10 minutes before the game. Like, come on, man.
Yeah, today announced in the morning that he's healthy.
Yeah, and you can pull him at halftime. You know what I mean? Like, I don't like it.
No, I didn't really like it either. But I am more worried about the end result. So
yeah, sure.
Yeah, for sure.
If he missed 10 games and then win the MVP by 4 games, well, whatever. Maybe if we get past what we're trying to get past, I think we'll be happier with that. So, but it is a little strange that it happened yesterday. But it's just like more, but they don't care about the PR, right? They obviously don't care about it. So they do it all the time in Denver for whatever reason. I don't know if it's like it swells up there or something. I have no idea.
Mile high?
Right? Who knows?
Yeah. Mile high?
Altitude gets to the kneecap. I don't know. Haven't been.
A little strange, but hey, yeah. Who knows? I've heard crazier scenarios, right?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, definitely have. So do you think they need to make a move of any sort?
I do. I don't think it has to be a crazy move. I don't think it has to be a crazy move.
What are you looking for?
I'd like another shoot. I'd like a shooter.
So like an Alex
a guy
Caruso.
that's going to knock down threes.
So a little Alex Caruso.
Oh, I mean, I love Alex Caruso. He's a Swiss Army knife.
I would love Alex Caruso too. I think that's like the perfect name out there. That's not like a guy who needs a basketball a ton.
Yeah, and I would take either. I'll take either Bogdanovich, the one on Detroit or the one on Atlanta. Either one.
Are they both Bohans?
I think one's Bojan, one's Bogdan. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah,
somehow they're not related. They have the same name, not related. I don't know how.
Yeah, I mean,
but both can shoot. Both can do a little bit of things. Both can hit shots. Both have hit shots before in the playoffs. I'll take either one of them.
I mean, since they're sinking ship, I know there's other pieces. I just like to talk out loud. Like there's no other, I understand things have to go into the trade machine. But it seems like they're sinking ship, and he came back and he seems like he's calming down. But would you take like a Draymond Green if you can get him? Like I'm saying, for cheap. I mean, I know he's crazy, but just what the toughness, the defense. You don't need any offense from him. I mean, whatever you get, you get. I don't know. Not saying he's even available. I'm just saying.
Whose spots he takes? Does he take Tobias's?
He's probably more available than we think, though. Sweeps, like to your point.
Yeah. That's
right. I
he's
think
more power forward.
I think Golden State would handedly get rid of him to get away from his contract and his antics.
Yeah,
I was going to say he makes good money though, so we'd probably put Tobias in, right?
Yeah, I don't think I give up Tobias for him. Just
I didn't want to.
Because the expiring contract, right? Because I'm getting out of that money, and then to take it on with Draymond. But if I could get it for less than that,
I was just saying, try to add him to. I didn't want to, but contractually, it would probably have to be Toby. But
he's one of those guys, though, Sweeps, that you hate him when you're against him. You like him when you're on his team, when he's on your team, unless your name's Jordan Poole. So, I mean, I would. You could sign me up for. I can get on board with Draymond. I'm not gonna lie. I can get on board.
There's worse moves to make for sure.
Yeah.
I'd be in, but I think it'd be too pricey for us.
Well, I think the one thing this team needs help on, if you really want to look through it, and points per game, they're 6th. They're 9th in offensive points per game, which would be the same as points per game. I don't know why that's 2 different categories. But rebounds per game, they're 18th. Assists per game, they're 23rd. So, I mean, you want to try to improve your basketball team in 2 areas, they're probably it. is distributing the basketball and rebounding. So, when you're looking for things to add, I don't think you really need to add more points. It doesn't look like you really need to add more production.
I like our bench, though. I will say that. I think I like
How
our
about a
bench.
guy, since you're talking about scoring, how about a guy like Kuzma? I know he's weird and some antics going on in the Wizard land. I get it, but I think he's averaging 23 a game. And
I think it's the same. I think it's the same thing. I think he's like, I think he's like Tobias money, right?
Yeah.
My only thing with Kuzma is he stinks like a loser. I feel like he's a loser.
Yeah, but be bigger than that. I think he's getting paid like Tobias money.
Oh, he definitely is getting paid some money for sure.
First season of a 4-year, $90 million contract. Yep.
All right, it's not crazy money.
Yeah, it's
not
like
great.
Not great though. But to Wilson's point,
20,
another
22
guy
and a half year,
like scared to get in bed with because he have a stench to him.
He does.
All right, that's my only concern. And that's my only thing about Zach LaVine too, right? Like
I want nothing to do with him.
People love him, and I'm like, I feel like he's got a stench to him, dude. Just because
he stinks.
They don't even go to the playoffs.
He stinks.
Now, Dejounte Murray would be the name that you could get me you could get me all on board with. Dejounte Murray is a guy that is me is a really good.
He would help the rebounding and the assisting,
and he's a two-way player, right? He's a really good two-way player. I think he's a little undervalued defensively, but I think he's really good. So that's a guy.
He's a good rebounder for a guard, and he's a good assist guy.
That's the guy I'd be in for. Now I don't know what his money is. I think he's making that kind of money, but that's a guy I'm sure they would take the bias on because now they get out of the money. They're able to move on from. So I'm
you have to think Atlanta might be looking to reload or retool.
Yeah, it didn't work. That little two-guard run didn't work, right? So, to your point, Greg, they're looking to probably, what can I get back? I get this money off the books and restart it, right? So that's a no-brainer for them. So, that's a move I would put the bias in. There's not a lot of moves I would, but that move, because I know next year, still having him, I feel really good about it. Unlike having like a Draymond, right? That's just getting older, where Murray's still young to me. And I think he brings a lot on the perimeter where we obviously could always use help defending the perimeter, right?
Yeah.
I'll take an entree of Murray with a little appetizer of Bogdanovich, right with him.
You're just trying to get
Will's mentioned him because he got punched in the face, but a guy like Jordan Poole, maybe, just another guy that's, the situation stinks, or maybe a fresh start, right situation, veteran coaches, veteran players here. I don't know.
I like them until he got punched in the face.
He was talented at one point. Then he got his face caved in. I get that. He kind of had to leave. They had to kind of ship him out after that.
I think he has the worst plus minus in basketball in the last 3 seasons.
Yeah, no, he definitely doesn't play any D. He's on this,
No.
He's
Keldon Johnson would be great. Yeah.
Who said Keldon Johnson? I don't think the problem with that is I think the Spurs want to keep those young guys that are pretty good.
Yeah.
But I would love Keldon Johnson.
Yeah. But yeah, I think they're trying to build something, obviously.
Yeah, because they got a lot of young guys. They're very
good. Them to restart it, like they're going to get another high pick this year. So for them to try to restart anything or take on money just doesn't make sense. Not that they would take our money, but we don't have to be first.
Yeah.
That's the other side, the trade. So we couldn't even do that.
And that's the one thing, like when you talk about Murray, like Murray's, used to be a main cog, right? Murray's used to being the main guy. So maybe it took him a little bit in Atlanta to fill into that secondary role to where if we do potentially grab him, he would fill in nicer than he would from the start of the season.
Yeah.
That's a weird role for some of these guys to fill into. So it takes a little bit sometimes.
No, it definitely does. Brogdon's a good name. I've heard that name mentioned a little bit out there. Wouldn't cost you a ton for Malcolm.
Yeah,
Brogdon.
And he's on a bad Portland team. You'd probably get him decently cheap.
Yep. And Habib, I don't know. I don't think Andre Drummond. They have enough bigs here, so I think they're fine.
You don't want to stump
Speaking of losers,
you don't want to stump B-ball Paul's growth.
I mean, full How about full circle? We got Jeremy Grant back. He's playing fantastic. Now,
I was going to say,
a monster, monster
I'm
contract.
on board for that. I am definitely
monster
on board
contract.
for that.
That would have to be Toby involved in there. But
Yeah, that'd be
you're
Toby again.
Dude's averaging 23, 47% from three, 80 from the foul line. What a year.
I've always liked Jeremy.
Yeah, I love Jeremy Grant.
Again, wonder if he has a stench on him because everywhere he's been, they lose. Even here, I don't think he's been with anybody that's really won games since leaving here.
It's tough out when you start on a team that's trying to lose, like we were.
Yeah.
Like it's not an indictment on him. It's an indictment he's never been around any winning. Like now you just have that stench on you, and
I think he might have won one playoff series.
With who? Who was he with?
With Portland the first year, right? Is this his third year with Portland?
With Dame? Yeah, maybe
with Dame. Yeah.
Yeah,
I think that's
maybe.
it. Besides that, I think because he was on Detroit, they were bad. He was on Oklahoma City, they were bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Listen, I'm a Cuse guy right off the rip, so I love some Jeremy Grant, and he's a good player. He's a good two-way player, but he's got a little stench. I'll admit, a little stench.
little scratch and sniff.
Yeah, which I think, and I'm not disagreeing with anything anybody said so far. I'm just saying, when you fall into that category, I think it's different in years past. With Doc, I just think Nick Nurse is a different guy. You know what I mean? I don't know. So
I'll agree with that.
I'm on board.
I'm not saying, so
I think
I'm
not
saying he can cure everything. But
I think he can cure a lot because look what happened last night, right? Last night's perfect example of like he's going to get more with less, right? He's going to get the most out of whatever he has on the court. And last night's a perfect example of that. He got the most out of a bunch of bench guys.
Yeah, they really competed last night. It was nice to see.
And that's just adjustment. That's just that's just him coaching, right? I thought that thing was really great too. To know we have that kind of leadership from veterans.
Yeah, coaching Paul Reed right on the floor.
Yeah, love it. Paul Reed.
I like me some Pat. I still think Pat Bev 3 years ago would have been better, but I like me some Pat Bev.
Yeah, he still has a game to him. You know what I mean?
I think I like our bench. That's why I don't even have to go like the DeJounte Murray is a good name, but to me that's almost like too big of a move. I feel like we don't need that big of a move. But I mean,
you're right.
I'm not going to say I'm against it, but
we don't need that big of a move. To your point, we don't have to. We're really good the way we're built. To be real, we don't have to go out and do anything crazy. But I am excited to watch. I am excited with work, and I know you guys agree for some 10 p.m. starts. Big fan of that.
Is it tomorrow?
Look,
tomorrow 10?
Yeah, tomorrow 10.
Yep, back to back. Monday and
Love
Tuesday, baby. We got it.
Love it.
Monday and Tuesday and Thursday, right? So
listen, for us guys that work late shift, which I'm gonna say is about 50% of the country, we love it.
Love it.
That's right when I get out of work. Get out at 10, game starts at 10. Love it.
And then Saturday, then Saturday you're back home versus Brooklyn. 6 p.m.er.
You know who's supposed to come back Wednesday for Brooklyn?
I've been trying to think Castle.
Old Benny's supposed to be back this week. You think he actually plays? Benny's supposed to be back this week.
I think it's so far removed.
Simmons is supposed to be back this week.
I think it's so
Ben Simmons.
I think it's so far removed that I don't even think it matters if he plays or
has he even played here since though?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No, I don't think he's actually played.
I don't think he has.
No, he hasn't played here. No.
Yeah, he showed up in that yellow mustard outfit, whatever he was.
Yeah, he didn't play though, right?
No,
both times he's been back here, not played.
He'll find his way not to play on Saturday again. Fucking pussy. Damn, there's another one.
Another quota. All right. Speaking of quotas, here comes a bunch. Crum of the week. You've been feeling the sprinkles. Unless anybody has anything else Sixers wise before we segue out.
Let's have a good. I think this should be an easy 3-1 week, maybe 4-0.
I mean, in reality, you love a 4-piece.
I think the Golden State game.
Your hardest game. Yeah, your hardest game is Golden State. Just gonna say.
Yeah, back-to-back travel could be tough, but Golden State's bad right now, though.
Yeah, I mean, it's traveling from Portland to Golden State. You ain't going
it's not far. It's not far.
So,
knowing our luck, Embiid will sit that one out or something.
Probably. Probably.
But
all right.
Yeah. I mean, it should be easy 3-1.
3-1 minimum. Love a 4-0 spot though. Nothing stopping you from winning all four. Right? Nothing stopping from going 4-0, running the table, staying in this 3 spot where they're at right now in the East. Keep treading water, staying right around there so you're in striking distance to try to control stuff. Because really would love a Game 7 played here. You know what I mean? Really would like not to go to Boston for a Game 7 or somewhere else. So, or to go see Doc for a Game 7.
We know he'll lose.
Game 7 played here last year worked well, but I hear you.
It wasn't here. It was Game 6.
Oh, 6. That was 6. You're right. Shit. Still didn't work well.
No, it worked terrible. Game 7 worked worse though, somehow.
Yeah, 7 was worse. You're right. 7 was worse.
7.
I
over.
forgot 7. 7 was so bad I removed it from my mind.
Yeah, the fourth quarter from Game 6 rolled right into Game 7. And so you couldn't make it up. Rolled right into Game 7. All right.
I like
where
we sit though. Honestly, I like where the Sixers are right
Yeah.
now.
No, they're right in that mix, right? They're right where you want to be. And they're, in my opinion, they're the overlooked team in the whole conversation, right? They're the overlooked team. I mean, the Knicks are right up their ass, and so are the Cavs, but they're the overlooked team in this whole Eastern Conference, right? Not like Joel.
Knicks are dangerous.
Not Joel-wise. Well, Knicks have a little problem. They got no Julius Randle for a while.
Yeah,
so.
Randle got hurt, but they said it wasn't that bad, right?
I still dislocated it, so
yeah,
you're still talking about a few weeks minimum. So
I mean, they're like 11-1 since they got Anunoby, I think.
Yeah, no, they're good. They're dangerous for sure. They absolutely are. We own the Knicks, so I ain't worried about that.
That was a good move by them because that's a guy that would have fit really well with us. Is OG?
Yeah, and well, they had the pieces. Obviously, we didn't have an RJ Barrett, right?
Yeah,
the sprinkle in that deal to make it work. But that's a Tibbs guy, though. An OG Anunoby is a total Tibbs. Like if it's a Tibbs tree, OG Anunoby is like the best apple, right? If Tibbs has an apple tree, Obi's like freaking red. It's so delicious.
Yeah, that's a Fuji for sure.
Yeah, some Fuji water, some of the Hawaiian, the Wakia. You know what I mean? We talk about this. We talk about the Waka Waka Kia. No, Waka Waka. You always got to, if you're in Hawaii, I think you always got to double it. Never been, but I heard.
Love to go.
Love to go.
Love a free trip. If anybody's got a business,
maybe we can
travel agency, we would love to promote it for you.
Yeah,
and then in circle, you send us for Hawaii. Done and done. Yeah. That's it. We'll give you a year on the house. You just send us for Hawaii.
We'll pronounce it. We promise.
Yeah, we'll give you a great review. Great review.
Big reviewers here. Okay. Crum of the week brought to you by Royal Billiard, the premier game room store in the Delaware Valley, located 515 Bethlehem Pike, Colmar, PA. Visit them on the web, royalbilliard.com. All right. Make sure you hit the like, subscribe, follow, turn your bell on, your alerts on. Stay with us, baby. Comment in. We do it every week. It's our Crum of the week time. And listen, this week, I'm going to let, I already know where it is in the chamber. So we'll let Uncle Sweeps. I
actually wasn't going to go there. I was going to let you guys go. But I mean, it's a favorite time of year. I mean, if I land there, which I
wish we had the bottle.
Of course, I would definitely land there. I mean, if Wilson wants to go there, I'll elaborate and speak my mind. I got another one in the chamber for yesterday's debacle.
I prepared another one because I thought you were going to go there, but we can either go there. I don't care.
Yeah, well, I got at least that too. So I mean, he's one of us is going to use him, and then I got to go with Colorado State as well. So we'll touch. Let's just tell the audience what happened yesterday, and then we'll circle back to today. And I promise I'll go real quick. Colorado State basketball, 11-point lead with a minute to go. Lost the game. All right. Forget about gambling. Forget about anything involved. I know it's hard to do because we're degenerates. All right. And that's probably why people are like, hey, why are you angry, Sweeps? Yeah, I did have them. All right. So one of the worst all-time losses of all time. But I mean, absolute losers. Forget about me. All right. You got to be an absolute loser. All right, as a team, as an organization, as a program, to lose an 11-point lead in a minute. I mean, and then a 5-point lead in 9 seconds. So forget about 11-point lead. A 5-point lead in 9 seconds. They found
almost impossible.
Yeah, and I'm going to tell you how. They found a 3-point shooter. No reason why you're anywhere even sniffing the guy's shorts. I don't care if they smell like Febreze or if that's the way you go. You don't even belong anywhere near this guy's shorts. Get away from him. You're up 5. They foul a shooter. He makes the first 2. Conventionally, it's time to miss one. He misses that one. They get an offensive rebound with 2 seconds left. They found that guy. I don't know why. You're up by 3. They found that guy. They think that's a great strategy. That guy makes that guy makes the first one. He has to, with 2 seconds, he has to miss the next one. He misses the next one. Another offensive rebound, put back, game's tied, goes overtime, and they lose in overtime. Just unbelievable. Unbelievable. You'll see it on bad beats. But like I said, take away the gambling aspect. Unbelievable. What an awful loss. How does that even happen? It's impossible.
The top off was against Wyoming.
Yeah, exactly.
Didn't even know they had a basketball.
Yeah, not a juggernaut. not a juggernaut. So absolutely incredible. And then, we want to, since Tom knows it is my favorite time of year, it's once again, it's Lamar Jackson season. So
champagne pops.
It's Lamar Jackson season. Another home playoff loss. Lamar, Steve Nash Jackson. Congratulations on your second MVP. And we're going to have to wait till next year to see, see if you can win see if you can win the big one. The best team in the league this year, absolutely just an awful, awful performance today. And if you say otherwise, you don't have eyes again, and you're just not watching the games we're watching. Okay, so it's not about, hey, you like a guy, we don't like a guy, you don't like a guy, I don't like a guy. Just use your eyes and watch. Okay, he just didn't play well. I'm sorry. Okay, you give credit to the Chiefs, and Spags did a great job, but they're down by 10. He threw in the triple coverage, interception in the triple coverage when you're in field goal range, down 10, unacceptable. Can't do it as an MVP in this league. Can't do it. So just didn't make any plays. Wasn't good enough. I don't know what people were watching. You know what I mean? So
full agreement. Yeah,
and I'm a guy who
didn't make any plays really.
I'm a guy who likes Lamar too, to a point, right? He's tremendous, on what he can do, right? His God-given abilities. So I'm not saying I love him or I think he's the perfect quarterback, but he's absolutely a weapon. There was points this year where I think he looked better at a lot of things, but all those things they look better at, they creeped up today, and he didn't look better at them today. So, and obviously a ton of credit goes to the Chiefs as well, because it's not an easy guy to slow down, and they had a perfect game plan for it. But part of it goes when you have that monkey on your back, and you're playing against greatness on the other side. It's hard to get that. It's hard to get it off your back sometimes, man, because as much as it's
get a little tight.
These guys know, man. I mean, these are guys on computers. They're not AI generated players. These guys are human beings. He knows what he had. He knew how big of a moment this was. It was talked about on the pregame, how big of a moment this was for him to put his name up into that conversation with a guy like Mahomes. Well, when you can never beat him, you can't be up in the conversation with him. That's how that works.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just how that works. Peyton Manning had to go through it for years until he finally beat him.
Absolutely.
Peyton dealt with it for years over in the AFC. He never beat Brady. Was never a winner, right? I'm the biggest guy who was critical of Peyton back in the day. But the facts were the facts. Brady beat him all the time. So until you beat him, you're not as good as him.
Yeah.
When he beat him and went on and won his, now you're in the conversation because you beat him to get there. This was Lamar Jackson's opportunity, and there wasn't a better time that Kansas City was there for the taking. They were there for the taking, and you didn't take it, and you didn't capitalize on your opportunity. And listen, you missed 10 games the year before. So who's going to say that you're going to have a full year out?
And to be fair, to segue your point, which is tremendous right there, is the same way, and that's why we're equal opportunists here. It's the same way with Josh Allen. You'll never be on Pat's level. You can't beat him, right? That's Uncle Pat. Uncle Pat is smacking you every year. He's smacking you, right? You had him in your backyard this year, and you guys coughed it up too. So. So don't think, we'll give it to everybody around here. The Ravens were the best team, pillar to pillar all year, right? The Niners were sprinkled in there. They were cute and they were very good too. And they're obviously in the Super Bowl. I get that, right? But the Ravens went to San Francisco and absolutely embarrassed them. So they've been the best team in the NFL for a long,
since that game.
Yeah, exactly.
Pretty much that game put them on.
Pretty much pillar to pillar, but definitely since that game. So that's what we're talking about. This isn't just, one seeds lose. People get upset. It happens. But this team, this was their opportunity. This was the most, the Ravens defense is great. You saw them throw a shutout in the second half.
Played great. Played great in the second half.
Running game, I'm not sure why they abandoned things. They decided, to try to put it all on Lamar's shoulder. I don't know.
That's exactly what they did.
And it surely didn't work. So, we'll give it to everybody. So, Todd Monken, he, whatever his name is, he deserves, he's right up there as Crum of the week as well. But we talk about it all the time. Like, players play, you're the MVP of this league. And you can't play like that at home. Sorry.
Totally agree, Sweeps. Listen, didn't get the job done. Some bad passes on short balls early. Obviously, terrible decision late in the triple coverage. Yeah. And like you said, Baltimore's defense played great in the second half. If anything, it just showed the kind of winners that the Chiefs are, because they couldn't do much in the second half, but they just stayed in their game plan. They let Baltimore make mistake after mistake, and they just capitalized on it. And Lamar just didn't play good enough again at home in the playoffs with a better team. Didn't play good enough again.
Yeah,
everyone's going to tell me how he's awesome. Nah, nope.
My two crumbs are easy.
Do you want me to give my actual crumb, or do you want to?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, well, mine is the Milwaukee Bucks.
I agree.
Because how you fire a guy that's 30 and 13 second in the East, there's got to be something more behind the scenes, I guess. They said like Doc was working as like a mediary already with the team or something. Very strange.
Yeah,
but the fact
he was helping him out. He was helping him out to take his job.
He was helping him get fired. Is that what he was doing? Helping to take his job?
Slit his throat. How about it? Wow.
Yep.
Not a surprise.
The old Julius Caesar, huh? Right in the back.
Nice guy, Glenn. Glenn was in the Trojan horse.
I don't understand how you go bring that guy in. To me, if anything, this is the greatest thing that's happened to the Sixers, because I think this is going to help us get out of the second round. Glenn Rivers is a loser, capital L loser, and I love it. I love the move by the Bucks. Great decision, Milwaukee. Can't wait to watch you guys implode in the playoffs.
Yeah, he was consulting. Mark said Glenn Rivers was consulting this man. It's Frito Corleone.
Yeah, absolutely. He inserted a knife right into his back.
It's like your first, you don't wait till you're 43 games in. Like I agree. I was absolutely shocked. If you were if you felt like there was something going on, it was 10 days into the season. I don't even know if they played yet. Like Terry Stott walked away 10 days in. And I read up on it because I was absolutely, I couldn't believe what I was like. Whoa, that's weird. Let me do some research on that. And I guess it was after a shoot around, and he went to like coach Giannis and Dame, and like they were just breaking off. Like he was taking them to do some kind of shooting drill or something. You know what I mean? And I know I never call him that. Spelling bee, sorry. And then the head coach wanted to have a coaches meeting, and he kind of whistled and yelled at Stotts, and Stott was like, he didn't like that. So, so that tells me Terry Stott's a little soft too. I understand you're a diva and you're a head coach and stuff like that, but maybe just grab the guy by the collar and say, hey, don't whistle at me, don't be talking to me like that, and then we'll go from there. Don't just walk away and take your ball and leave it. But it is what it is. I'm different. I'm wired different. But that would have been your first clue that maybe something wasn't going there, and something wasn't going there, going right there. Especially, and then, I think it was early on, Spelling Bee went in there and said, hey, we only know how to run Budenholz's defense, so that's what we want to do. And he was like, oh, okay. He just totally caved. and they just don't have the pieces to run that. They're a different personnel this year. So if you're judging that their defensive rankings are different than last year, no kidding. You had a dog in Drew Holiday, who was one of the best perimeter defenders in the league. All right. And then you switched him out with Dame Lillard, who doesn't even know what defense is. If you told him where to stand, like tremendous offensive player. But if you told him to stand over there, he wouldn't know. He wouldn't even know what to do on that end.
No.
Yeah. Great shooter. Great clutch shooter. Aim Lillard. No D.
Yep.
Aim Lillard.
Mine's Dan Campbell. Like we talked about earlier, you got a chance to go up 17 in a playoff game in the third quarter. That's it. that's a nail in the coffin right there. And I know listen, I'm an aggressive guy in nature, right? So I love going for it on fourth down. I'm a big fourth down, go for it guy. But again, we talked about this. It is all time and place, baby. I mean, it's all feel. Sometimes you can't get caught up in the emotion of the game and just be like, all right, well, this is what we've done all year. Sometimes the feel comes in. And today was a non-feel, overly aggressive that you almost feel like you're not as good of a team. And I think that's false. Like that's false today. Right, Dan? You're playing an NFC title game. You belong there. You belong there. The fact that they're acting like they're such underdogs to the world makes me laugh because you're up 14-0. You're taking it to them, right? Like again, if you're playing from behind and you want to go for on fourth down all the time, be my guest. I'm right with you, right? But when you got a 14-point lead and you got a chance for a field goal, 17-0, 3-possession game,
that's the
you
key.
control the whole thing. The momentum doesn't change. So much goes with that 3 points. I get it. If you convert it, I get it. It's game over, essentially, you converted. I understand that side of it, too. I get it, because that's what you can say. That's the only thing you can hold your hat on is, hey, we convert that ball game. Well, you didn't. And there's that chance. And there's a chance of you missing the field goal, too. I get it. But it's not a 4th and 1. It's not 4th and inches, right? Like, come on. Have a feel for the game, Dan. I think you've done a tremendous job. You changed a losing culture to a respected winning culture now. Absolutely, and that didn't change from what you did today. It didn't change it. It's just, I mean, that's just like you're off your rocker on the shit that I watched today. That's my
it can be tough to come back from this today, honestly, Tommy, because he's going to get a lot of criticism for today.
He will, but I think his players will back him because I think players.
Oh yeah, they will. I agree.
Players like that style.
Of course. But once again, they're not dictating things. You're not playing in the backyard with your brothers, all right, in a pickup game. You're not. This is the biggest stage, all right, in the NFL. This is a conference championship game, and you got to be more responsible. You have to be more responsible. If the game is tied and it's the first, I don't care about like when we're talking about the first and second quarter. If you're playing the St. Louis Rams, the greatest show on turf, and you're trying to match points and you don't want to kick field goals, I'm with you, brother. I'm with you. You got a 14-point lead. You tack on there. And the same thing, with Andy. Like I said, they won, but he doesn't, we rip him too. You know what I mean? Like he didn't challenge that Kelce spot, but after you didn't challenge the Kelce spot, kick it. You could see that the points are at a premium here. That'll put you up 10. They wind up getting it back again because Lamar took a shit right before the half, so they got a field goal late, to go up 10 anyway. But still, that's Danny. We love Dan. There's no bigger supporters than Dan Campbell of us four guys. So we love what he's doing. I said early in the show that they were probably a year early to the dance, right? But when you get this far and you're up by 14, you're up by 17 at half, you could smell it. You could smell it. You know what I mean? And all you got to do. How do we stop runs? We talk about it, in any sport. Teams on a 15-0 run in hoops. You get a layup, get to the foul line, do something. You have to stop a run, right? They got shut out in the second half. Where if he kicks a field goal, right, then you stop that momentum. Not only does it put them up 17, it just stops any momentum. They had all the momentum there. You had nothing to gain by going for it. Yeah, people say, oh, yeah, you're up by 21. Okay, great. You're still up by 3 scores. All right, if you go up by 17, so it's just it was reckless.
It's reckless for sure.
Yeah, it's reckless, and even the end of the game is reckless. I know what Wilson's saying in the audio. I understand it and I get it, right? But it's not right. It's still not right. They got it, and that's great. They covered the spread. That's cute. You're down 10. You kick it at the end there too. And I know you didn't kick the other one. So you're like, Sweeps, what the fuck are you talking about? I don't care. They're down 10. An onside kick is an onside kick. I understand it's easier to get a field goal when you're, after if you recover a miraculous onside kick. But fourth down, that's an automatic kick to give you a chance. You don't get that fourth down, you lose the game by 10. There is no onside kick, so I just think every decision he made in that second half was wrong. You know what I mean? So, and that one included. They just happened to get that one. But
I think I'm even more on board. I was said earlier that the fourth down didn't bother me as much. I think I'm going to switch my tune there because I like what you guys are saying about the 17. Plus, you look at it, San Fran opened with the ball in the second half, went down, was held to 3.
Yep.
You get 3 right back. You're right back to a 17-point lead where you were at halftime, halfway through the third.
Yeah.
Everything's honky-dory.
Yeah, they didn't take any momentum from you.
Yeah, there's 6 minutes to go. It was crazy.
There's a quote here from what Dan Campbell told the locker room, and it's just one quote out of his thing, but he said he told the locker room that this might have been their only shot. And not necessarily saying they're not going to be good again, but he said, you're not hiding from anyone anymore. Everyone will want a piece of you, right? So, like, kind of to what you guys are all saying, right? You're not going to sneak up on anybody. Oh, it's just the Lions coming in. Right, it's just the Lions. We're just playing the Lions. We don't know the same old Lions.
Yeah, like I said, in playoffs in any sport, but
you snuck up on somebody and you have a chance to go up 17, Dan. That'd be my thing again.
Oh yeah,
like you did sneak up on somebody.
You can't, the people that even his family members that might want to justify it. Like you can't say that. Well, we played this year all year, and this is how he is. I get that. That's awesome, but there's a time and place for it. All right, this is playoff time. All right,
and on the road. You take on the road.
You take the points in the playoffs. I mean, everything shrinks, right? This isn't the regular season, just like the NBA, you know what I mean? And just like the red zone, you know what I mean? Like, teams get better in the red zone on defense. The game, you gotta slow the game down. Everything shrinks, you know what I mean? So we're in the regular season, people don't care as much, so then it becomes, the NBA. What are we talking about? The NBA in playoffs becomes a half court game. Right, it's not up and down. It's not a track meet anymore. Right, the teams that will win have to be able to run a half court offense. You know what I mean? Like getting out in transition is cute, but you got to be able to when that breaks down, you got to be able to run a half court offense. Right, and in this sense, you got the guy that's making decisions has to. Like he didn't fumble, Gibbs fumbled. Right, but that you started that snowball with that bad decision, started the Ayuk fluke. All right, and then that quick score. And then Gibbs fumbled, and now we're tied at 24. And you're like, what the hell just happened? What just happened to my young football team? There's no way I can recover. And that's why I said that next drive was huge. And then Reynolds dropped it, and they had to punt, and then forget it. There it was. Yeah, and that was,
and I
and
hate
that was
his
it.
quote, too, by the way. Look, I don't know how much you want to tell your football team that's like your only shot.
Yeah, that's terrible. I hope that's quoted, not from Greg. I just hope somebody pulled that. I hope that was a bad pull quote because that's. I think they're young, and I think they got a great culture, and I think he does a great job. You know what I mean? And I think they got a good young nucleus. Yeah, you definitely don't say that. Jeez.
Yeah, I'm not sure I like that. Greg kind of helped him out by like expanding on it, but just the quote itself, not a great quote.
Not a great quote. Okay,
not a good quote at all.
It's their only chance, guys. We're done.
Yeah,
Detroit.
Back
in Detroit.
I fall. Hey, my bad. he just slides out the room.
Oh, this is fun. We won't be back again. All right, Greg, what's your crumb?
I got 2 quick ones. First one is going to be Miss Alyssa Milano, who's worth $10 million, probably worth $10 million. Her son is going to Cooperstown, and her son and obviously her son's teams are trying to raise money. And Alyssa Milano, who again is worth $10 million, decides to throw out her GoFundMe onto her social media pages. Wow! Like, have a feel. Like, hey, let your son go to Cooperstown. Great time. Have a great experience.
Cost $17,000. Not, not for her.
No.
The team.
No, sure. And I have no problem doing fundraisers, but don't throw it out to your social media as you. You know what I mean? Like, you want to have car washes, you want to run block pools, fundraisers, stuff like that.
Just write a check.
100%. Just write the check.
It's $17,000. All right, be a hero.
You have it.
$17,000.
You have it. You drive around a Porsche SUV, like, you have the money for at least your son. Like, I'm not saying you got to donate for the whole team, but for your son, you could cover your half. Complete lack of just any type of personal understanding
it's these Hollywood people to a T, Greg, isn't it? No,
well, I'm sure the crowd. I'm sure the baseball team they're running around with. I'm going to venture to guess that a lot of other players' families have some good money too.
100%.
Not here to count everybody's money. I don't know, but I'm just a guess. Like if somebody's worth that much money, they're usually
I don't think she's
that
living.
Circle.
Yeah, she's not living in a crappy town. She probably has a big house somewhere.
And like I said, it's not per kid. It's 17,000 per team. The kids stay in the bunks. I mean, it's you know,
now it's obviously a little bit more for them. They got to travel.
Cleans up. Yeah.
They're obviously traveling. You know, they're traveling as far as they are. I get it, but like you said, Greg, I got no problem with people fundraising.
No,
you know, you're already playing for your kid to play, or you're already paying for your kid to play. So whatever. But yeah, it's funny when it comes from somebody worth that much money. Like, okay,
keep it on social media.
Yeah, here's $100, and I'm sure people donated too.
I'm sure they did. You know, but you're asking for money from people who are less well off than you in this economy.
Yeah.
And then real quick, number 2 is going to be the Texas Longhorns and their softness with the good old horns down. They got into a scuffle. I think it was UCF earlier in the week. The head coach came out and was calling the kids classless. And then last night, the BYU, the student section in the first row, they all had shirts on that said horns down. And after the first TV timeout, they made them take the shirts off. Again, just another spectacle from the Texas Longhorns. They're college kids. Let the kids be kids.
How could they make them
like? Are you this soft?
Yeah, they did.
Are you this soft right now that you can't take horns down?
How
like
it's
a
first off, you ain't ready for the
football.
SEC then.
No,
you ain't ready for the SEC if horns
you're
down.
not ready.
How is that even possible? Like you're in
they
BYU.
100% made them take up the shirt.
No, I believe you. How is that
an
possible?
absolute crock of right now with how soft that they are at Texas right now. You can't do it in football anymore. That's like a 15-yard penalty if you're on the field and you do the horns down. Like they're just softer than baby crap right now, and it's terrible.
But horns up,
and their new coach isn't doing anything about it. He's just as bad.
Horns up is acceptable.
Horns up is good. Horns down is bad.
Horns up is like their thing.
Oh no, I know what it is. Yeah, I just didn't understand. Yeah. And
it's pretty incredible that they're that whiny about it. When I saw that they removed the BYU kids in the front row shirts, I was like, "What is happening?"
Yep. Softer than Sharman.
Yep. Absolutely. All right, boys. Great stuff.
Kelce, most receptions in the playoffs too. Sorry. Wow. Pass Jerry Rice. You know you're doing something right when you pass Jerry Rice in anything.
Yeah.
In the first half too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was the Taylor impact. We're brought to you by Specialized Physical Therapy. Our doc, make them yours, Dr. Paul Vidal, specializedphysicaltherapy.com, located Burlington, Cherry Hill, New Jersey. As always, for Greg Milakovic, Nick DelGozzo, Brian Wilson, I'm Tom Arnone. Everybody out there, we appreciate you. We love you. Thanks for all the comments. Make sure you hit the like, subscribe, turn your alerts on the way out. We'll see you next Sunday. Stay tuned. Big week of shows here. We'll see you next week.